Good morning from Merida here in the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. More specifically, we are here today at Uxmal, the Mayan ruins about an hour to an hour and a half south of Merida. Absolutely beautiful day here today. Sun's out, not incredibly hot yet. It is about 10:30 in the morning and we just got here. Just a bit of information here before we head into the park. To get here, so typically you want to come here from the city of Merida. It is about an hour and a half on the bus or so. There's a couple buses in the morning. I took the 9 a.m. bus to get here. What you need to do is you go down to the Historical Center ADO bus station in Merida. You go up to the ticket counter and just tell them, you want to buy a ticket to Uxmal ruins, and they give you one of these cards. It's that Ojoro bus card, and they load it with I believe 100 pesos. The card itself was, I forget, 30 or 40 pesos or something, and then they load it a little bit. So that will at least get you enough money to get down here. So from there, what you want to do is, that card is not specific to a date or time, so you just go to the bus station when you want to head out. I bought that a couple days in advance because the lineup at the bus station itself can be a little long, so if you get stuck waiting, you might miss a bus. So if you can head down there a day or two ahead of time, pick up that card, all the better. So then from that ADO bus station, I took the 9 a.m. bus, which was at gate 22 at the station. And if you're not 100% sure, it should be a Sur bus, a smaller green and white bus. And you can always just ask the driver or people around as well. So you just hop on the bus and it just drops you off here at the end of this road. And it's only a couple hundred meters in from there to get to the park. And so yeah, that's where we are at the moment. Just about to hit to the entrance here. There are two separate entrance fees to Uxmal, which is the same for almost everywhere here in the Yucatan. There is the entrance fee for the park itself, which is, I believe, 95 pesos. That can be paid with cash or card. And then there's also the state tax here for each of these sites, which is an additional, I believe, 495 pesos. And if those numbers are wrong, I'll confirm them after I get inside. Let's head in. I believe we have to check our bag as well, so make sure when you come here, you just bring, make sure you keep your water and your passport if you have it, and money and that kind of stuff on your person, because the bags themselves, I believe, have to be checked. So let's figure all this out. We'll head in and get going. And let's go check out Uxmal here in the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico on this absolute stunner of a day. And if you do come here, just remember that drones are not permitted anywhere in the parks. So we're in, and just to kind of update that information. So first thing is that up until recently, you had to pay cash only for the state tax, which is 465 pesos, I believe. They are now accepting cards for that at the counter. So when you arrive here, there are 4 windows, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the first 2, 1 and 2, are for the admission to the park itself. And that ticket was 95 pesos. And then I pay the extra 60 pesos for the ability to record with my camera and stuff here, which is fine. So when you arrive, If you don't have cash, you can also pay for the 95 peso admittance now on a machine here as well. So just when you get here, the machine is on your right and the wickets, the counters are on the left. So if you want to just pay with a card or, you know, tap with your phone, just go to that machine on the right, hit, you know, how many tickets you need, whatever, press pay and off you go. And then you still have to go to ticket windows 3 or 4 for the state tax one, which was the 400 whatever peso one. Once you have both of those, there are then 2 entrances kind of back to back here. The first one, they scan the state tax ticket, which will be like a white and orange ticket that you'll receive, which looks like this. And then once you go through the first wicket, you go to the second one, and then they just scan the entrance fee ticket. So, and once all that's done, then you're in. So one thing of note is that there was no bag check like I thought there was. I'd read a few people online saying you have to check your bags and all that stuff, and I'm heading up to the park now. There's been no bag check so far, so that's great. Anyway, we're gonna head up and start exploring. This place is not crazy busy, but you know, there's a few people in line, but the line moves very quickly, so it was easy to get up and get everything paid for and get inside. Let's head up. So when you arrive at Uxmal and come up the stairs, it's a pretty grand entrance, to say the least. As your first view of Uxmal, you are greeted by this, which is what's known as the Magician's Temple here at Uxmal. Pre-pandemic, you were able to actually climb up on top of this temple, which is very steep. It's now been closed. And so access to it has been cut off since then, which is fine. I've talked about that before, that I don't really have an issue with not being able to climb these temples anymore. I think that it ensures that many of these places end up, you know, surviving for longer with less damage. And it's an opportunity for more people to be able to come and experience them as well. So it's good in that way. It's it's quite the view when you first walk in. See that for the first time, it's it's pretty spectacular, to say the least. But you can even see that, like, 3/4 of the way up there's actually a little entrance way carved into the steps. I'm going to come around here and see if I can get an angle shot to kind of show just how steep these steps are, because the problem that I've always had is that on camera it's very difficult to see just how steep these steps are. So if I come over here along the side, so that kind of gives you an idea of the steps. You know, that's kind of a flat angle there, so really kind of goes to show you just how steep it is and how how interesting it would be to both get up and then get back down afterwards. So a bit of background here about Uxmal. So it was founded in about 700 AD, roughly. It was part of the larger Mayan Empire and was the regional capital for the area. At its height, Uxmal had about 25,000 people living here, and the site itself lasted for several centuries. It was actually occupied 3 times as well in its history by different groups, so it's quite a long and varied history here. So one of the more impressive things about this pyramid is that whereas a lot of them are sort of stepped pyramids that we've seen in the past, you know, they'll have like 3 or 4 levels to them and they're all pretty flat. This one here is actually all rounded. So you can see here on the sides and at the top there, like, it's all rounded corners, which is pretty cool. We're gonna continue our walk here in a minute to have a look around the rest of the place. One of the things that's nice about Uxmal is that it's also very compact. So if you do come here, you can walk the entire site in less than a couple hours and see everything that's here. Assuming you don't stop like I do every 30 seconds to gawk at things and shoot some more video. But for the average person, yeah, it shouldn't be much more than a couple hours, I would say, at the most. So let's continue. There's a path here, well-worn path. We'll just continue walking along here and see what else Uxmal has to offer. There are a lot of, I already see here, a lot of remnants of foundations and things of some smaller buildings. So there's some here, there's some more right here as well. So we're going to continue down this way. Cool looking building here on the left with the columns. You know, there's been so much excavation work done here over the years that they've done just an incredible job of, you know, meshing together some of the original material with recreation material to try and restore what the buildings, you know, would have looked like at the time. Imagining what it would have looked like with 25,000 people living here. There's some beautiful open areas here. And this is, there's actually more up this way as well, but we'll circle back to that later. I'm going to go this way and I think up to the left here. And I'll loop around. There's not really a set route when you come here. You can kind of explore on your own. I would say that this place is definitely busier than both Monte Alban and Edsna were for me. There's definitely more people here, but again, it's not bad. Like, you see people kind of wandering around and stuff, but it's not like you're lined up behind 100 people to see each building or anything, so it's nice. Hey buddy, what's up? Enjoying the heat. So here is another pelota court. We've seen these at some of the other sites as well for the ball game that would be played here. This court looks, I would say, larger in terms of its width. A lot of them were much narrower than this. What's kind of neat about this one though, here at Uxmal, is that it still has one of the original circle stones up on the wall. So these circle stones, I've mentioned before in one of my previous videos, that the game was primarily played here in the field. It's two teams, they start at the middle, work it back and forth using, you know, different parts of the body. Couldn't use their hands or their feet, but like knees, elbows, head, shoulders, whatever. And you'd score points based on progressing down the field or back. But these circular stones here, of which there was one on each side, if you managed to get the ball through those, game was over, from what I understand, and it was an instant win. Now, standing here, up to there, that's a good, 10 meters from the center of the court. So the odds of being able to get it up through there, would have been pretty small for a lot of people. There are certainly more to this park as well. This area here is all roped off, but you can see there's lots of mounds of stone and other things here that probably are smaller buildings that have not been restored yet. So this is just around the front side of the ball court, which is just kind of on the back side of this wall. It's a good example here, I think, of the state of a lot of the ruins that you would find without any kind of repair or restoration work. So you've got a lot of loose stones kind of showing where the steps may have been at one point. You get these facades which are in different states of repair. But yeah, this is a very cool place. There's a sign over here which I want to have a look at, because this is part of that roped off area where there's a lot of different mounds and stones here. So what the sign here is talking about is actually that there was a state reserve that was created here back in 2011 to preserve the fauna and the plants and things that are here. They presented a protection for 135,000 hectares of land encompassing a large area, including Uxmal and some other spots. Yeah, it's great that Mexico has done that to kind of help preserve some of these places, to ensure that, you know, anything that might be unique to the area gets to survive and thrive. It ensures that there's no, you know, construction or development here that would encroach on some of the nature or some of the historical value that this place has. I'm kind of doing this haphazardly on my own. There's some different signs that kind of give you a indication of different ways to go, but as the famous song says, you can go your own way. So we're just heading up the hill here from where we were before, coming up this way. This is the governor's mansion at the top of the hill, which many people consider to be the most beautiful building here at Uxmal. So let's go up and have a look, see if it lives up to the hype. Sure looks like it does from here, I know that. There's another smaller building actually here. Let's have a look at this first. So here's a smaller place that's here just in front of the governor's mansion. A couple different rooms here with these vaulted ceilings and stuff that are here too, which is pretty cool. There's another one here as well with a small yard by it, which looks like it probably had a couple of other structures there to it. My guess is that they probably looked like this one, and then there was several more there. Anyway, let's head up to the governor's house, which is right up these stairs. So when you get to the top of the hill, up here to the governor's palace, this is what you're greeted with.